This is our snake specimen. He is small, and then right now we're showing the integumentary system. Snakes are made of two predominant layers. The outside, which is made up of these scales, is made of beta carotene. It's a protective, kind of hard layer that's meant just to protect the snake. And then on the inside, in between the scales, it's a bit harder to see in this. Let's see if I can find a little section. Okay. Not on this until we really cut it open, but on the inside is made of alpha carotene, which is a flexible layer made more for movement as well as less water loss. It does protect a little bit just because carotene is protective in general, but it's not as much as the scales do. Go. So on here, there's two ways that you can externally find out the gender of a snake. Right here is the cloaca, this little opening. And normally you would put a probe in there and see how far it went. If it went super far, it's a male because they have longer hemipenes than females. However, you can also tell by the tail. Females have a longer, more slender tail with this gradual taper shown here. So this is a female. And then the males, it's kind of fat and then it just suddenly tapers off. But this one is a female snake. Body cavity.
Oh, you're taking the juice over there? Yeah.
All right, so right here is the heart. A snake's heart is made up of two atriums, a left and a right atrium, and then one main ventricle. Normally, in like human hearts, it's got two ventricles, one that takes deoxygenated blood to the heart and one that takes oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. Right here is the one ventricle that a snake has. It's got three compartments that help to separate oxygenated from deoxygenated blood and take them to their respective places. So on this side is the left atrium of the heart. It's what takes oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. And then on the other side is the right atrium, which collects deoxygenated blood that comes in from the rest of the, or that comes in from the ventricle, oxygenates it, and then pushes it out through the left atrium, again out the same ventricle that it comes in.
Okay, so this is a snake's mouth. This little hole right here is the glottis, and it's used for oxygen intake and carbon dioxide exhalation. And right here is the forked tongue. It uses it to sense smell. It'll put him in these factory pits to smell. And then right here, these are the teeth, and they are backwards to inch the prey in. And it's not poisonous because it doesn't have fangs. This right here is the esophagus, and it covers over half of the whole body, and it uses perielastic movement, which is like a wave-like contraction, so the food can move through the esophagus and into the stomach. And this is the stomach, and it secretes digestive enzymes to break food down. So these are the small intestines. The small intestines are used to further break down food and extract nutrients from the food. And right here is the large intestines, and they're used to absorb water and electrolytes. It also forms and pushes feces towards the cloaca for defecation. This is the liver. It produces bile that breaks down fats, and it purifies blood containing nutrients that's obtained from newly digested food from the small intestine. This right here is the gallbladder. It stores bile for later use in digestion. And then if you come down here, this is the cloaca, and it's used to defecate, excrete urine, and lay eggs.
So this little hole is the epiglottis, and it's what helps breathe oxygen in and exhale CO2 out. It is connected to the trachea, which is this clear sort of segmented section right here. We did accidentally cut through it, but it does continue on and then connect over here. Right here is where the heart was previously cut out, and then right below the heart, the trachea connects to the lungs, which is this spongy material right here. because of how dry it was, we thought it was tissue and accidentally cut through it, but we did find out that it is the lungs. And it also connects over here. Snakes do have 2 lungs. There's a right lung and then a very small left lung. The right lung usually covers a good little portion of it. The left lung is a lot smaller, and some species of snakes don't actually have a left lung.
So these are the kidneys. They're staggered for excess water removal, and they also remove toxins from the body, acting as a filter. They also create uric acid, which is then sent to the cloaca, which is going to be right here, which is an opening towards the end of the snake on the ventral side. It excretes the uric acid and digests food and eggs in the female, which this is, and is used in reproduction. So using the hemipene, the male injects the female with sperm right here, and they come up through these oviducts, which are these darker parts right here. This one comes up to this ovary, and this one right here comes over to this ovary, which is going to be the right ovary, and this is going to be the left ovary. So the ovaries are what holds the eggs in reproductive systems.
All right, so right here, these are the fat bodies. They are very dried out. However, after the snake eats, what their body does is it stores a bunch of extra fat that they can then use until they're able to find their next meal. And these fat bodies here can actually store enough food for the snake to live weeks up to months on end without any, or in between meals. So on either side of the snake, it's got eyes that are used to see and everything. There are 46 species of snakes in the genus Ankylos that are actually blind, and most of those are found in Australia. Right here are the nose, or the nares, and this is where the olfactory bulbs kind of come down, and then the tongue will get scent molecules, dip the tongue into here, and then the olfactory bulbs will then kind of relay that information back to the snake. The snake doesn't have external ears like humans or animals would. They have internal ears, which are on either side, or actually they're a little more down here. They're on either side of the snake, and instead of sensing sound, they sense vibrations. They can sense vibrations from 50 to 1,000 hertz. You can't see them very well on this little snake just because it's so small, but most non-venomous snakes, like pythons, boas, stuff like that, that actually constrict their prey, they'll have things called pit organs on the front of their mouth, on the top and bottom jaw, and those are used to sense infrared radiation, which is how they're able to see at night. Lastly, all over the snake, they've got nerve endings, just all over the body, that help them sense what they're touching and all that good stuff. The brain that we have on our actual snake was too small and too fragile for us to take out and actually be able to show you. But this is a reptile brain. So this cream-colored part back here is the medulla oblongata, and it helps control like all the autonomic sort of things in the body, so like digestion, heart, lungs, all that stuff. The involuntary things that you do all the time. Right here is the cerebellum, and it helps coordinate like your balance and memory and all that whatnot. And then in blue, this is the midbrain, also known as the optic lobes. And they're what control the eyes. They receive the information from the eyes and then kind of relay it to the rest of the brain, so that way the snake knows where it's going. This little dark part right here, the diencephalon, and it's kind of the forebrain, and it's what controls the hormones. So like it makes the snake thirsty, tells it when it needs to eat, all those sort of things. Right here is the the cerebrum, and this is what is going to control all the voluntary things. So movement, swallowing, all that stuff. Basically, this is what controls the voluntary muscle area. And then right up here, these are the olfactory the olfactory lobes, and basically the snake will get like some smell molecules off his tongue. He'll put them in these little pores, and those pores then connect to the olfactory lobe, which then sends the information to this area, or to the rest of the brain, and tells him if the smell means he should go towards it, shouldn't go towards it, and just kind of helps him know where it's going.
Thank you for watching.